Shout out Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisman. Shout out Lou Betya, looking like the tick, the fly with his glasses. Yeah, special episode. Very special guest. Doesn't get any more special than Lou Betya. He's come out of his cave. He wanted a female UFC main event to break down, and here we are. I said, no worries, mate. I'll get rid of my other guests just for you. I'll push him back to a pay-per-view or something less important, and I'll bring you on for Blanchfield versus Barber. How are you, my friend?
I can think of no better way to follow up the Champions League final Saturday than watching Rayanne dos Santos and Alice Ardelean. I can think of no better follow-up than that. I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. I always like chopping it up with you. You always ask me why I'm not funny. So I wrote down the one joke I know. I'll try to work it in to the broadcast. But I'm excited. Like, I like this card. I like weirdly, and we got the new fight today. So I like that a lot better than Medeiros and Oki. And it's an interesting card for what it is. I don't know if it's a great betting card. It's got some spots, but that's what you're here for, to tell me when I'm wrong. And then, I already listened to Brady. Brady and I agree on way too much this week. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, that makes it interesting. So what I'll do is I'll insult your slate and Brady's slate at the same time on live on air. So that'll be good.
Well, he has 25,000 followers. So combined, we have 25,034 followers. So that's the pool you're insulting with that.
Yeah, but
I'm pretty sure all of my followers follow Brady.
They don't all tail his bets, though. He's got a lot of followers that just follow him to shit on him, which is fun.
It's my guy.
Yeah. I wish there was more people shitting on me. I don't know why. Am I not polarizing enough to be hated in my comments or the live chat?
Well, I think you owned Brandon Olivas so bad the one time he was on that like nobody wanted to fuck with you ever again. I think you just.
I don't even know if that's true. I was just being normal. We were just being cordial.
Dog's father is just like he's there to be abused by you. So
yeah, Dogfather knows how to take it, and that's why he's my friend.
Well, he changed his game by like getting all Riz and shit on these broadcasts with like his glasses and his goofy multicolored. But I saw him and Pepe have a collab play coming up. I don't know what that really means. I assume it just means the button's so heavy it takes two of them to like click.
Yeah. But basically, dog goes to press it, and then Pepe puts his hand over his hand and guides him to lock it in.
They are two of my favorites that I respect, and I know Pepe is excited for Champions League since he won like the bag last year because we nailed the exact score too. Like never a doubt. They didn't score until there was 20 minutes left, and they scored. Never a doubt, 2-0 Real. Like never a doubt. But I have a little bit of a different score line for this year's. A little bit different.
I remember that. The one bet that I'd entail that won, and then all the other Lou bets I tail just down the drain. But we'll go through this card, and then you can do your little Champions League spiel, and then I'll do my research so I can bet something as well, right? Alrighty. This is the fight that you're here for, Lou. Right, that's what my gut tells me. Rayanne dos Santos, Elise, Ardelean. Right, so popular play on Elise. I'm not sure how popular, but a little money's come in. And I taped it first because it kind of reminds me of Pinheiro versus Torres, right? There's got to be some value on Elise. Like, the favorite has not covered this line before. And my gut just says I can't play it. Like, I get it. Like, it's going to be competitive. It's bottom of the barrel female UFC fight. Rayanne has not looked favorite against anyone or hasn't covered a line against anyone. But I just feel like she's better. She's better, and she should be potentially 2-0 in the UFC against better women. So, I don't know. Just not forcing it. Like, the brain says there's value in Elise, but the gut says you don't have to play this fight. So my gut is number one for me. What about you, Lewis?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, this line's predicated on dos Santos getting a lot of top time. That's how she covers this line. But I'm not so sure, A, she's going to do it. Because, I can throw the Allan Carr fight out in terms of her going for grappling, but even just attempting 3 takedowns against Puja wasn't a great look.
You don't think she can be the better striker on the feet?
I think they're both low volume. I think she's probably more accurate. Ardelean's just kind of a body to be hit, but she's also probably going to have a size advantage. I mean, I think Dos Santos is pretty small for the weight class.
Yeah, she's an atom weight.
So if this is a low volume striking fight, system play would be the plus 300. That being said, Dos Santos probably wins a low striking fight 30-27. But I mean, just if you didn't look at the names and you just looked at like the stats and the styles, you just take the dog. But the problem is never Alice Ardelean for me, like ever. Like I can't trust this girl. So cringy. The TikTok shit is like, that's probably why she's such a big underdog. Like just that's baked into the line. So this is a total pass for me. I mean, if your book has like Dos Santos takedowns and it's reasonable, like for 2+, maybe take a look, but I don't want to. I want to spend my just one Champions League money on this fight.
I feel like the reason you don't have that many leans on this card is because you spend too much time on Elise's TikTok, but that's right. We've all been there.
Elise, now if Elise Reed had a TikTok, now that'll turn my crank.
Well, she might make one now that she's probably getting cut. A couple more losses, she'll make one.
She's got that Western Pennsylvania Dutch, new to electricity look about her that I find very sexy. That's the joke I wrote down. It's all downhill from here. We're done.
Okay. I can't relate, but it's all right. I'm sure someone in the chat can. Maybe Luke.
Oh, you don't have Dutch people out there, I guess.
No, but there's everything in Australia, trust me.
Well, you live in like a prison. So it's, I live in a mental prison. You live in a literal prison.
Yeah, but I can leave. I go to free countries in Europe every now and then to feel the taste of freedom, and then I come back.
Are you drinking alcohol?
No, it's coffee. Damn. Coffee. No, I would.
Sober. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how to do these shows without the talent juice.
Yeah, just be yourself, mate. Not too much, just a little bit. All right. Bolaji, Oki, Michael, Aswell. So this is one that's been put on short notice. I agree with you. I don't really like Oki versus Medeiros from a betting perspective. A lot of people are saying, they would rather play Oki minus 200. I wasn't really interested. Low volume, wide stance, bad footwork. Doesn't really mix it up. So he had to cover minus 200 against the guy with more volume than him. And yeah, I don't really have an opinion on this at all. Michael Aswell, the first time I ever faded him and taped him was against Del Valle in Fury FC. Del Valle was a decent-sized underdog, so I taped him back then, and then I faded him against Josh Altum. He almost got knocked out there. Didn't really have a strong lead on Bogdan Grad in Contender Series, but I think he's UFC level. Like he's, Del Valle, Josh Altum, Nate Richardson, Bogdan Grad, and Dorian Ramos was also on Contender Series. This is all high-level guys. Like two of them already in the UFC. The rest have been on Contender Series, right? So
with wins,
he's only 24. What was that, Luke?
With wins in the UFC as well. Like
like he's very well-rounded. Like, and I think Oki is what, minus 200 still?
360.
Oh wow.
Minus 360.
Yeah, the main issue with Aswell is how hittable he is. He is a typical ape, and it's probably Oki is athletic and he can hit hard, and if you're gonna stand there, he can knock you out. I played Oki against old mate Dylan Salvador, and I thought Salvador was extremely durable, and he ran through him. So, yeah, I mean it's kind of similar to Medeiros, right? Except Aswell is a lot more hittable, and it's short notice, and yeah, he's gonna have probably less volume, less kicks. I don't know. You have a read on this very short notice fight?
Yeah, so a couple things on the Aswell side. So he was in camp because he had a fight scheduled for 3 weeks from now. So at least there's that. Like he was in camp. He hasn't fought. This is at 155. He hasn't fought at 155 in 7 years. Now, if he hasn't really started cutting weight, I don't know if it matters, but I got to think that Oki is just going to have like a massive power advantage. But again, if he's low volume, I mean, if he's low volume with how hittable Aswell is, it may not matter. But I don't know, man. Aswell's been staying ready for this opportunity. I think I think he may come out and throw a lot of volume early. So if you like Oki, I mean, I don't know why you would at this number. I mean, I didn't like him like you. I didn't like him at 180. I don't know. I'm not really itching to play him at minus 360. But he might be an interesting live bet if Aswell kind of unloads the tank early, throws a ton of volume. Again, with the short notice and being up a weight class, I don't know if he's going to have the power to really hurt Oki here too much. He'd have to win a volume-based decision, I think. And I don't know. I kind of think Oki. I think Aswell might be he might lose 29-28 here. So I'm going to pick Oki. If Aswell has a good first round, I'm getting a really good price on Oki after 1. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at it. You don't see any grappling happening in this fight, do you?
Maybe by Aswell. I have to retape Bogdan Grad. Wasn't there a lot of clinching in that fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Aswell's just on up a weight class. I don't know if he's going to I mean, Oki's takedown defense isn't great, but he is freak athlete and strong. So if Aswell burns himself out going for a couple of takedowns, this should be one-way traffic going as the fight goes on.
I did write down that both him and Medeiros might have grappling holes, right? They're both green. But yeah, it's Aswell not someone to take advantage. But yeah, I don't like to overthink these short notice fights. Like, we're asking all these questions, like, would he do this? Would he do that? I think the smart thing is just to move on. But
I mean,
an under could be
where's
potentially
Chris
good.
Duncan? Chris Duncan is going to go on a legendary run out of the title, so that loss is going to be all right.
Maybe an under, cheeky under, right?
Yeah, I didn't see any. Oh, the over 2.5 was minus 150. I think I looked at it earlier, so it's like probably plus 120 for the under. Yeah, I would think Oki has pretty much all the finishing equity here, but
yeah,
I imagine his in the distance and the under is probably not going to be too different. Like, you're probably better off just not being greedy and going for an under. So
true. All right, thank you for that, Lewis.
I researched like 2 things, man.
You're on it. You're on this short notice fight more than me. All right. Gustafsson versus Trevin Giles. At any point you want to take the lead, you let me know. But I would like to say that I'm very close to playing Trevin Giles, which scares me. Which I think if I go back through entire career of Trevin Giles, I have never put my hard-earned money on the guy, and I'm happy about that. It reminds me of Mickey Gall. I remember I kept saying that when people bet him against Ramiz Brahimaj. I said I haven't bet him before, and I'm not going to bet him now, as he's mushed by the Twitter public, even if it's Ramiz Brahimaj. But here I'm kind of close on Giles, just because I taped Gustafsson early in the week, and everyone's like, oh, I love sharp people, not so sharp people. I love Gustafsson versus Jeremiah Wells. Like, I love him, and I'm like, $1.65. This guy's 34 years old. I remember taping him for Contender Series, and I was really not that impressed with him. He has losses to like Jolton Ludovich, who was in the UFC, then cut him. Has a bunch of other losses. His win over, David Hoshek, that guy's a huge bum. I know him from KSW and Octagon. His Tony Lampion win. I saw someone on Twitter say, watch that fight if you want to know what Andreas Gustafsson's about. Tony is 8-8, and his face was a bloody mess. Maybe that in UFC that's a doctor stoppage. Obviously, he broke him. Not hard to break an 8-8 regional cab driver. This Dominic Schuber guy knocked him out with one punch. He's been ran through like a cheap hooker many times. And then Patlik, he broke him in round 2, but Patlik hit him once in round 1 and he wobbled him. And then Patlik, has been submitted by like an 18 and 13 journeyman before. So he had a lot more physicality there. But yeah, Trevin Giles, man. Trevin Giles is hurt. Delize. He's hurt Morales, right? He's hurt, I don't know, a bunch of others. He didn't really hurt Prates, but everyone keeps glazing how good he looked in that fight. He's good. He's good. He's just a mental idiot. But he's actually younger than Andreas Gustafsson, who doesn't... If he beats Giles, that's going to be his best win in his entire 14-fight UFC career. So I honestly think that Jeremiah Wells would have done Gustafsson like Court McGee, like with the defense that he has. He's literally... His game plan is an aggressive clinch spammer. That's it. All right, he's got a wrestling background, but he sucks. People take him down all the time on the regional scene. And I saw a story by him, and he said the game plan is to go full retard. And I'm like, that's beautiful. That's self-awareness to the max. The guy knows. That's a perfect way to describe Andreas Gustafsson. So, but the caveat here is that that's also Trevin Giles' game plan in every fight, right? Not in the first round, He does well in the first round, and then he activates that game plan round 2 and loses, gets finished. So I don't know, man. There is no way I'm playing $1.60 on Andreas Gustafsson, even if it's Trevin Giles. I think Trevin Giles, if he just decides to jab and actually throw hands, he's fought like Kosuke and some of these really other bad fighters and just decided not to throw at all. He went to war with Preston Parsons, which is also a red flag. Preston Parsons hurt him. Now that I say that out loud, I think the under might be the side here, but Jesus. Yeah, I just wanted to let out my strong read. That's how I feel. I feel like my gut is saying wait for more money on Gustafsson and then just do the unthinkable and bet Trevin Giles and then just hate yourself when Trevin Giles does something stupid and just go, why did I bet on the guy that I hate? Anyway, take it away, Lewis.
So I have a little bit of a different feeling about this one.
Oh,
so everything you said about Gustafsson's exactly like what I think too. Like he's gonna just try to like his path to victory here. He has 2 paths to victory. Clinch Giles like all day. Or wait till Giles does something stupid, which we know it's gonna happen. And what's a Giles win look like? He stays on the outside and just lands more. I mean, Gustafsson's very hittable. The problem with Giles is always, like Luke just said, never Trevin Giles. You have to trust him to execute that game plan. You have to trust him to throw a lot of jabs, like land, and stay out of the clinch. I mean, there's a short notice nature here too for Giles, but he just doesn't throw a ton. Like I've been arrested for DUIs, and those cops were way more assertive than Trevin Giles is. Like way more assertive. Now I'm not like
what did they do to you, Luke?
I'm not some crazy Swede like Gustafsson, but still they were way more assertive than this Giles cat. So if I think that Gustafsson's path is clinching, and I think that Giles' path is staying on the outside and jabbing, I kind of like the over. Like now, it's scary because I don't think Giles has any finishing equity here, though. Like I think all the finishing equity is Gustafsson going full retard and just doing his thing, and Giles getting broken late or just wilting under the clinch and being so gassed to start the 3rd round that Gustafsson wrecks him. But I don't know, man. If Giles just keeps him at distance, I just think this is it's a plus money over. I'm not there yet. The fight goes the distance, I think, is 140. It's not great. It's not enough to like make me pounce on it. But to your point, I think if the money's coming in on Gustafsson, then money's going to come in on the under as well. Like I think that'll drive that down. So if fight goes distance gets to a nice price, I may look at it, but I can't trust Giles, and Gustafsson sucks. So I really don't want to play a side. I'd play a total before I did a side. Do you think Giles has any finishing equity in this fight? Like, what do you cap his finishing equity at?
It's hard because
yeah.
It's hard because I haven't gone in depth, and I will say I regretted passing on the over in the contender series with Gustafsson because right before the fight started, I kind of said he's hittable, but he does have an iron chin. So I did mention that he got wobbled, and that's Pat Patlick. Pat Patlick had like so many KOs. But Trevin, Trevin's probably going to drop him and then won't even get close to finishing him, I don't know.
I mean, going the distance with Kosei is something. A guy that has like just zero cardio and does not want to be there in 3rd round. And Parsons, and I had a bet on Parsons in that.
Yeah, but the thing is, Gustafsson won't let him do that. Kosei just stared at him. He just stared at him. So if you're going to stare at him like Mike Malott or Kosei, then yeah, he will oblige. But I wonder what is he going to do when maybe the Preston Parsons is a good tape because that was like pressure, constant pressure. So we'll probably get a back and forth war, and that's probably where Giles performs the best when you actually force him.
You remember where that fight was?
No, I don't. I remember everyone was with Preston Parsons.
Giles got some home cooking there a little bit.
Yeah, that was that. Every time I taped that was.
It's close.
Wasn't much of a rob. He played out Pickham. They both hurt each other multiple times, and there was a lot of reversals. Which, yeah, I honestly think Giles is way more skilled than Gustafsson in terms of jiu-jitsu and striking and everything. But will he do something stupid when the pressure comes on? This is a catchweight too, right? You've done research on this short notice one.
Yeah, it's full retard versus constant retard.
Glenn identifies as a rhomboid. What does that mean?
I don't know
Right.
what rhombus is. I don't know.
All right, let's move on for this fight. My gut is telling me Andreas Gustafsson KO. I don't know what that pays.
By the way, I think this fight's going to either be like amazing or it's just going to be the worst goddamn thing ever. I don't think there's middle ground here. I think it's going to be a hilarious meme fest or it's the worst. It's the worst 15 minutes. Unless you bet fight goes the distance, then it's the greatest 15 minutes you ever watch.
It'll be a meme. It'll be a meme fest, I feel, because of Gustafsson. Alrighty. Speaking of meme fests, Jordan Leavitt versus Kurt Holobaugh. So, few people have laid the early Jordan Leavitt line, and this line keeps on going. I get it. It's one of those, Jordan can get takedowns, Kurt has bad takedown defense, blah, blah, blah. Yes. If only MMA was that easy, we would all be millionaires. But, yeah, I just don't really think Jordan is that good, right? The guy has finished by Paddy Pimblett and finished Chase Hooper in his own round, the grappling, right? So, and even when he's fought, what's the other guy? Pulis. I mean, Pulis hasn't really beat anyone. And yeah, he lost that decision too. So his wins are over Trey Ogden split, Matt Sales, Victor Martinez. So sure, he can get takedowns over Kurt, probably many per round. But as an overall fighter, I don't know if he's that many levels better than Kurt. You see Kurt going to close fights against Alexander Hernandez and Kenan Khrushchevsky, losing to Trey Ogden, whatever. Austin Hubbard submitted him. So I just think they're similar. So for me, laying minus 200 on Leavitt, who can be gassy when he gets out of round one. Yeah, he's probably going to look extremely uncomfortable on the feet with Kurt. Yeah, but I get it. Round one's going to start and Jordan's probably going to hit an easy blast double. And then you'd be like, oh, cool. I regret playing Kurt Holobaugh here. But yeah, I need to go more in depth on this one. The line just keeps going away and I'm like, I'm not going to bet either of these guys. So did a little bit of tape before the show, but yeah, I'm leaning maybe a live bet on Kurt. Let's see how his get-ups are. Let's see how tired Jordan is. Or maybe Jordan, after he loses round 2, gets a takedown in round 3. But nothing I like at the moment. Maybe an under. I think Jordan can be the first guy to submit Kurt. What do you think?
Can I interest you in a prop?
Oh, yeah. I'm always prop.
What do you think about Kurt Holobaugh round 3 at plus 1,600?
I could see it. I
so one thing about Leavitt. So Leavitt, he took some time off after the Hooper loss. But I've never loved Leavitt's cardio. And part of it is the way he fights. But I just don't think he has great cardio. And Holobaugh, the one thing I love about him is he's a gamer. Like, he's going to fight for your money. I also got to think there's a very good chance that Leavitt's up 2-0 when round 3 starts. That just on top time alone, that he's probably up 2-0. I do think he can get takedowns on Holobaugh. I think Scooter in the chat.
Hot take.
That he's super active.
You and Brady must have agreed on that Leavitt can get takedowns in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think I read it from Clint. I think Clint said he can get takedowns, but
Can you in the future? Can you just send me the notes that you, Brady, and Clint come up with, just so I can make my betting process a bit easier?
My notes are actually just a picture of Brady and his Nolly Yang wig.
It's actually just gibberish, just stick figures and Egyptian holographics.
So, let me ask you this. I mean, if this fight hits the 3rd round, and I think it does at a relatively high clip, how often do you think Holobaugh wins round 3? Are the takedowns coming easy? Is Leavitt doing anything with him? Because if this stays on the feet and Leavitt's gassed, I think Holobaugh just pieces him up.
Okay.
It might be too late, but
I'm glad you asked me this because as soon as you said that, I disagreed internally. And Kurt Holobaugh's round 3 is generally really, really bad. Really bad because he falls apart. So if you watch Hernandez round 3, no get-ups. Kenan Khrushchevsky, he was 2-0 up against Kenan. Round 3, he finally got taken down. Almost no get-up. Almost got guillotined as well.
Khrushchevsky was done. He was cooked.
And he still won round 3 against... Kurt is just all action. He's all action. He doesn't pace himself. And unfortunately, he's never... what is he, 38? So, yeah, I get the method, yes, Leavitt's going to gas by round 3, but so is Kurt. And, Kurt might be more gassed because he's just been on bottom for 10 minutes. So, personally, I think Kurt's finish upside is early because he always gets like knockouts round 1 and 2. And then he just gasses and the guy seems to just fall apart even more. When the cardio is out the window, then his takedown defense is even worse. Even round 3 against Thiago Moises, he's going for guillotines. It's like, you're not going to guillotine Thiago Moises, dude. So it's like, what are you doing? But yeah. So I don't really know if he's going to have the cardio to finish Leavitt in round 3. But same time, has Leavitt ever been round 3 since the Puelles fight? No. Oh, well, yeah, Trey Ogden. So I would have to rewatch that Trey Ogden fight. It's a disgusting fight, so I've been avoiding it. I know there's a lot of calf kicks and fault trips and stalling and yeah. So and
also rewatch Leavitt Ogden. It's burned in my burned in my memory.
I know a lot of people play Trey there.
We all know where we were when Leavitt fought Trey Ogden. Never forget.
I remember my friend was trying real hard to convince me, and I was like, I just can't play Trey Ogden, dude. I'm watching his regional tape, and that was like the one where gut saved me. The brain said yes, play Trey Ogden, but the gut was like, something's wrong here. Yeah, I don't know. I just think this is a back and forth fight, and they're both going to be gassed potentially in round 3. So, but Leavitt is the only one that can show improvement. I think Kurt is done. He's an old vet. He might knock out Leavitt, but that's it.
Well,
the under. What's the under?
Wouldn't interest you in that prop.
I said at a big number, yes, maybe, but straight away I'm like, actually, Kurt does it early. He never does it late. So under 1.5 rounds. Wow, that's a big number. Under 2.5 rounds, yeah, tempting. I also think Leavitt could submit him. I think I might have mentioned that already. So yeah, maybe we go down that route, eh? Under plus money.
Isn't under? Are we calling this a collab play on the under?
No, I'm not willing to hand it out on live on air. You know me. Somewhere out there is tailing me with their $50 Just Win Baby units. I can't, in my good conscience, give away a collab play if I'm not confident, if I'm not putting my own money on it. Leavitt by submission, yeah. I think I'm gonna live bet it. It's gonna be another Trey Ogden situation, back and forth. He might start for a few takedowns. He's gonna fall over, and then Leavitt's gonna get gassed, and he's gonna be at the mercy of a way better striker, and then the way better striker is going to go for a guillotine, and it's like, what are you doing? Yeah, I've been in this game long enough. I know a pass fight when I see a pass fight.
My favorite fighter in the UFC, my closest friend in the UFC, is a master of jumping guillotine.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He should be named the Cody at this point.
Do you think he's going to submit Abdul Malik?
No, but I bet he's going to do better than people think. I mean, who was the asshole that Malik fought? Was it 2 fights ago?
Malik
noticed Nick something.
No, he fought Dusko Todorovic first, knocked him out, and then he fought Nick Klein, and Nick Klein hurt him. So yes, I agree. Maybe Cody can do it.
And Nick Klein just kind of grinded him against the cage. Will Cody do that? Who knows, dude. But
he probably shouldn't. He's not made to grind.
No, Cody will probably have a few good minutes and then just get bombed. That's
that's how it goes generally, right?
They could have stopped the fight with Marquez. Marquez had him where they could have stopped it, and then they didn't. So I feel like if that's Malik, they're stopping it out of we don't want him to die.
All right. Glibot makes a good point. What's Leavitt's takedown defense in comparison? Leavitt's takedown defense is horrible. That is how Poole has beat him. So if Kurt wants to go for takedowns, he can take him down. What do we got here?
In fairness, he's facing pretty. Don't put this guy on the screen. This guy's.
I'm curious what he's saying. I really like the channel. I wanted to give you a heads up. I'm a lurker and clown. Who the hell is clown? Clown and all.
Must be a huge Discord though. Must be a huge Discord. Both members are talking shit.
Yeah, there must be good bettors if they're talking shit about me.
Yeah.
I'm boring. I'll tell you that.
The guys Leavitt's facing in the grappling realm are Patty's a good grappler, man. I know people like to shit on Patty, but
still getting rinsed that bad by Patty. It was kind of there's levels to grappling and
he had success in the first round of that.
Yeah. Leavitt might not be there, you know. All right, let's move on. Nascimento versus Filho. You want to take this one away?
Sure. I'm not betting this. This is an instinct. You're talking about your gut for the Ogden Leavitt fight. My gut is telling me stay away from this, man. I mean, it's such an appealing line. You're getting Nascimento under minus 200 in a fight where should have the grappling edge, might have the striking edge, probably has all the submission upside here. And yet, I don't love the absence away from the cage. I mean, Nascimento has like every tangible advantage here, like strength of schedule, everything. Well, it depends on how you rate Mikhaev, but I feel like Nascimento has every advantage, and I can't do it. Like something's telling me, something's keeping me off this. I'm going to pick Nascimento, and that's going to be the end of this breakdown. I mean, could he play guard too long? I don't think so. I don't think so in this kind of fight, because I sort of feel like, I don't know, man. Filho's there to get swept. Like, he does good things, and then he's another guy. He's kind of an idiot, and like, this is probably a good fight goes the distance fight, because like, I mean, Nascimento is not going to knock him out.
Well,
so
never say never.
Reversals and subs him. I don't see Filho finishing Nascimento. So I think Filho could probably. I know Filho is like an under machine. I get it, but I don't know. I can see Nascimento staying safe, and also probably going to be a slower start with his rust. So we'll see.
Yeah, can't disagree with a lot. I obviously I missed out on the better line on Nascimento. Like you said, he's got so many advantages. Like, his potential is to be ranked. Close fight. His last 6 fights all split decision losses. Against good grapplers. So I guess that's live, right? Jafel feel a really high level on top. He can take down Nascimento. He doesn't have the best takedown defense, and I don't think Nascimento is going to submit him off his back, because Jafel, he's been submitted twice, but rear naked chokes and whatnot. But yeah, as I said, I actually wanted to lay the juice on Nascimento, because I'm like, he's way bigger. When he finishes someone, he submits him. He's got power. Jafel Field has been finished before. He also gives off some like flaky vibes. In Contender Series, his calf was really hurt against Muhammad Mikhaev. He just kind of blew his load and then just kind of gave his back up, and he was submitted with a neck crank. So I'm like, yeah, this guy can be broken. Almost broken by Daniel Barrez as well. The Osborne fight is useless. So if someone's going to get a finish, it's probably Nas. And he's like extremely durable, extremely good on the ground, never been submitted, so never been knocked out.
I had a bet on Osborne in that fight, by the way.
Nice.
I think I had Osborne. I think I had Osborne round 1, and it was like, at least if you're going to lose, it's nice knowing you lost in 5 seconds. It's a bad bet.
Were you pissed off that the under 1.5 rounds was probably plus money and you didn't go with that instead?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, happens all the time to me.
I mean, I'm 0 for Ode in my life anyway. I think so. I deserved it.
Yeah, well, I lost 1,500 playing Gorilla versus Ode, and then Ode saves his UFC career with it, and he lost round 1 too, and then he knocked him out round 2 as predicted.
Yeah, I think I had a big bet on Charles Johnson against him, the short notice fight. And I
regret not playing Ode.
Like horrible 3rd round, like getting outpaced. I was like, what the fuck is happening? How is this possible? Like, how does Ode have cardio advantage in the 3rd round? And
MMA, dude, it's not. MMA is not linear like people think. That's why
we got another guy on this card coming up that I can't figure out either. So we'll talk about him soon.
As long as it's 2. If it's only 2 guys you can't figure out, you'll do well on the card. But if there's more than 2, then yeah. Anyway, I kind of felt like playing the juice on Allan because of all those advantages. And then I was like, okay, the gut is also saying, Jafel could make this competitive. It could be. Let's not force anything. I don't have any bets. I'm doing well by leaving things till the last minute, till weighing the weigh-ins. I'm not going to end my good streak by. As soon as you FOMO one thing, boom, that's it. So no FOMO. We'll wait. So maybe the line has gone away from me, but I'm also considering the under. But I think the under correlates with Allan Nascimento getting a finish. So not much more I can add to that fight.
I think it's subs plus 275 last I checked. Any interest in that?
It's so low, but end of the day, Jafel Filho is a high level grappler. So it's like I'm kind of hoping for the best. like I'm leaning to it, but I'm not confident enough. The line would have to be big for me to actually play it. I'm in a different position, I basically don't have a bankroll, so locks, only locks.
I have unlimited money after my Juice Boy MLS parlay I hit today.
Yeah, you got to be brave. Fortune favors the brave.
So gross.
Yeah, Zachary, Reese, Dusko, Todorovic. What a fight! I'll let you take this one away, Lou. I feel like you have strong interest in this one.
We talked earlier in the week, and I mean, so I wanted to ask you, can you cap Dusko against Mitrovic for me? Like, Mitrovic would be a favorite, right?
Who's Mitrovic? Well, the soccer player.
Yeah, he'd be like minus 200 here, right?
Well, Mitrovic is huge, man. He's a big boy.
He'd be like minus 200.
I don't know. It's the questions that you asked me.
Well, you're the expert. I assume that you know every single Serbian that's ever walked the planet.
I do. You know Mitrovic. I used to watch Mitrovic when he was an 18-year-old in Serbian league playing for Partizan, and Arsenal was scouting him back then, and he was always getting into punch-ons and fights. So he was a tough. I'm like, how the hell is this guy 18 years of age? He looks like a 35-year-old adult.
He's a beast, dude.
Yeah. So he probably at this point he'd probably knock out Dusko. So that just tells you that Zach's probably going to knock him out.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I realized I can't with Dusko. Like, I don't trust him to execute a good game plan, and I don't trust his chin. And the one thing about Reese is he's going to immediately get into the pocket. Within 3 seconds, he's going to be in the pocket, winging bombs. It's what he does. It's how he likes to fight. This is a square ass play, but his round 1 KOs plus 225. I sort of feel like that's what Reese is. No, and I
it could be worse. It could be worse, honestly. It could be minus money.
And I bet it. So I didn't bet it big yet, but well, just wait. Well, the real square play is going to be when I parlay this under, and then this fight plays out like the Jordan Wright one, where Dusko takes his sweet fucking time and finishes him like 30 seconds over, with 2 minutes left in the second round. So, I mean, I know Reese is maybe not the most durable guy ever. I think the Cody Brundage fight, just a fluky occurrence the way it played. The other loss was, this is where I wish I had written this down, but the Bakov fight. That was like, but that's what like and I don't think Bakayev's like this tremendously high level guy, but that was a high level strategy. Just get him down and like kill him. Like, you don't need to just, I don't know. I feel like Dusko is going to never fight optimally here. He's going to stand and trade with him, and he's going to just die. And then he's going to end up in like, I don't know, Guatemalan MMA league after this. Sure. Like, I got to think this is it for Dusko. So I don't like the idea of ever betting Reese at a minus 2XX. So I'm betting him at a plus 2XX. And what I think is not his money line, but it's a lot of his win equity is just, immediate bonk lord, as our friend Gugabe would say.
Yes, I'm going to take that silence as an opportunity to start speaking. I do think I am glad that I was not on that under in the Jordan Wright fight, especially because I was down big that card, and I chased with that fight. But I went with Dusko round 2 KO at like plus 700, and I also went with the under 2.5 and massive chalk, but I put thousands on it because I'm like, this is not going to decision. But I came out thinking Dusko is not the best under 1.5 guy, right? He has power. Like, we've seen him on the regionals knock out, Michel Pereira, which to this day still makes no sense to me. And I thought he's kind of durable, but he needs a takedown, and his wrestling is dreadful. His wrestling is dreadful. He could not take Maki Pitolo down. His lucky Maki pull guillotine. He could not take Jordan Wright down. He got mauled by Jordan Wright on the feet, or on the ground. He got out-muscled. I think he's a small guy. I think he's going to be much smaller much less physical than Zachary Reese. So yeah, he's gonna struggle here to get takedowns, but at the same time, Zachary Reese doesn't have the best takedown defense. So if he can get that Zachary down, his path is a ground and pound KO. I know a few people have mentioned that already, and yeah, that's the path. But it's like, Reese will kick. He's very aggressive. He's also hittable. It's a dog or pass. The under 1.5 at minus 200. It's the same as Jordan Wright fight. Like, he might hit Zach, but who's less durable, Zachary Reese or the Beverly Hills Ninja? Right. So yeah, even the Quan Townsend. When did he finish the Quan Townsend? Over 1.5 rounds in round 2. So that's why I played round 2 in the Jordan Wright fight. So yeah, I feel like I might just have to lie bet this one as well. Or if I'm going to play Dusko, I'll play Dusko by KO. Glimbot in here said, how funny would it be, Dusko Dusko decision 9-1 would be hilarious. I think that's very live. I think we all expect a finish. I think Dusko is durable enough to survive Zachary Reese, especially because Zach mostly throws kicks. He hurt Jose Medina with multiple kicks to the body. Nothing really landed to the face. But he was uncomfortable when Medina landed a couple of punches, and then he took him down. Like, will he try wrestle Dusko? Dusko's a much better grappler than the GOAT, Jose Medina. So I think there's a path where this goes long. Neither guy finishes the other. Like, I think both their finishing upsides are a bit overrated. Most of Zach's finishes are submissions, right? And Dusko's never been submitted. He came into the UFC. His background was a grappler. He had a black belt in Serbia years ago before he even started his MMA career. So yeah, I think Dusko can top time him, and if he doesn't ground and pound him out, we could see this fight go long. Kind of reminds me of the RoboCop Rodriguez. Remember that fight? How the hell did RoboCop and Dusko survive that fight for 15 minutes? Like, no one even got a moment, let alone a knockdown, let alone a finish. So who knows? Weird fight.
But yeah, man, talk about the double knockout here. I feel like this fight. What was the PFL fight? Was it? I don't know if it was Tim Johnson, but you had to. I think it was Johnson Marquez. Were like,
yeah,
you had to knock down a ball shot at the same time. I feel like I want that for this fight. The knockout yam bag shot like simultaneously would be awesome.
Look, as a Serbian fan, I would love nothing more than for Dusko to win this fight and revitalize his failed UFC career. But even someone like Zachary Reese, I just have a bad feeling. It's in terms of like durability and athleticism and power, is just, I get a bad feeling in my gut. I mean, Dusko's out here getting round 1 knockout losses by blowing out his own knee. That's just the way his career's going right now. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, against a guy who has no urgency in the first round ever.
I mean, we all thought that was a massive squash match, but I mean, looking back at it now, he probably could have beat Christian Leroy Duncan if that fight extended. It's a shame. All right, Ketlen Vieira versus Macy Chiasson. I mean, you're here for this fight, so take it away. You've sent me some cheeky photos of Ketlen Vieira before, so
my notes say barn burner. That's the first word I wrote down is barn burner. I was gonna just bet the split decision and call it a day, since I'm not sure Chiasson's gonna be able to really wrestle here, and I think it's just gonna be another low volume striking. Dude, the split decision's plus 275. Like, I'm never betting ever. So yeah, I have nothing to add to this. This is a pass. I just don't care.
Fair enough. I'm just looking at that clown guy. I know this clown guy, the one apparently talking shit about me. He's always talking about lucrative and famous dudes, and I watched a few of his videos because they're funny. And I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to be one of these videos. I don't have the following, but it seems like the episode is not about me. That's a shame. I still haven't made it. Still not famous.
Well, there's something called The Clown Show. That's different than what this guy's talking about.
No, it's Clown 'em All. I'm watching it. It's not live, but yeah, my name is not in the channel, so I guess I don't pull in the views. But the Discord, I see who's in the live chat, like Baby Sharp MMA. So these are all retards. So yeah, that's good. I don't mind being dissed by them. It's all just unsharp people. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought I'd like Macy. The gut said Macy. I know Vieira well. Macy seems to be like on an uptrend. She used to be very good, then dropped the ball, and now she's kind of like getting close to the title shot again. But watching that Moira Silva fight and even that Penny fight, where I was on the under in the Penny, and I super regret not going the under in the Moira Silva fight. I think the under's live here again. I think Macy could potentially finish Ketlen Vieira, and Vieira doesn't finish anyone, but Macy's a chick that gets knocked out with a heel to the liver. So, and she's also been submitted by Raquel Pennington. So that's still possible. Yes, she is streaking, but it's a big under again. So yeah, I mean, it's my gut again after tape. Maybe I've overthought it. Says it could play out close, and you should probably pass on the fight. Macy lost round 1 to Moira Silva. She's still hittable, but yeah, I don't know. I got more fights to do. I know if I tape the Vieira versus Penny fight, I'll jump back up onto Macy again because that was a really unimpressive performance. So
you know what the betting angle is for this fight? You wait till there's 10 seconds left and you see whoever's like the plus 2,000 on the live line and just bet it and hope that you get like a weird ass decision. Like that's probably the best way to play this fight. Oh, Shady likes Chiasson here. All right.
Shady's also flexing. He loves to flex the fact that he works an 18-hour straight full-time job that just looks soul destroying.
he's either working a full day or it's beers all day.
He's flexing it. He's flexing
I'm here for that kind of life, man. It's like 18 straight beers and then 2 straight days of working.
Local man, he makes a good point. If your audience isn't square, your YouTube game, you're right. You're right. All the big YouTube channels have a lot of square audience. But who's to say I can't have a really small, predominantly sharp audience? Who's to say that every time a square goes on my live feed, they just get disgusted by all the knowledge, boring knowledge I'm giving out, and they just go, I'm not subscribing to this. This is boring. Who's to say that I need squares? Anyway, let's move on. We're in the main card. Who would have thought? Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopes. Again, pre-tape, the gut is like easy win for Jacoby. After tape, watching Vitor Petrino, heard him and drop him, I think in both rounds, round 1 and 2, and he fought very patiently there. So it doesn't matter how patiently this guy fights. The fact that his reactions are so slow, the fact that his hands are down by his knees, he gets hit by everyone, even a guy like Petrino who swings looping overhands. So I know Bruno, I unfortunately I bet him in his Ribeiro fight. And when I was just like, I lost 5,000 in one day. That was not a good day. And then, I bet him against the guy on Contender Series when he came back, and I sweated a bit, but he got it done. And then I just bet the over against Magomed. I thought he correlated. And, he's not good, but, the fact that Dustin is 37 and he's looking more and more washed every fight, I think this evens out a bit. I can't get behind Dustin at minus 200. I get it. Everyone is, touting it and giving it out. It's not my kind of play. That's if something crazy, if crazy variance is going to happen, then I don't want to be part of Dustin Jacoby minus 200, But there's more tape to be done, honestly. But Bruno's good. Bruno's offensive boxing is good when he lets his hands go. But both these guys are very slow, very hittable, and can be dropped, can be knocked out. So don't want to say dog or pass, but I'm just going to wait for a better read. What do you think, Lewis?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on everything you said about Jacoby. And as far as like Lopes goes here, I mean, is he going to offensively grapple? I guess that's, we don't know these things. That's why we talk about him. But if he does, I mean, I've heard some takes this week like Jacoby's takedown defense is so good and his get-up game's great. I mean, not that I think like Bruno Lopes is some world beater, but I kind of think if he's persistent about grappling the first 5 minutes, he can absolutely tire Jacoby out. And you could point to like, oh, well, Kudiyaba took him down 8 times. Yeah, but this is a long time ago at this point. Like Jacoby's a lot more shop worn since then. Like the Menafield fight, he didn't look like his cardio didn't look good in the 3rd round there. So you're going to taking me a younger guy as a dog with grappling upside that it looks like they're at least trying to set up a little bit here. like I side with Lopes. Jacoby as a favorite, like at this point, is terrible. I don't know if I'll get there. I will say this in terms of like a live bet angle. If Lopes does go for grappling, you're going to lose your price on him immediately. Like, and if you like Jacoby, you'd probably be able to get him at like plus 140, plus 150 at that point. So if you like Jacoby, maybe I'd wait. I mean, I don't know if he's going to get a round 1 KO here, but I think Lopes can probably just do enough getting him down, grappling, avoiding like a big shot, and probably win the first 2 rounds. And you might win 30-27, dude. We'll see what they look. The third round of this fight would be probably awful to watch. Probably
disgusting.
Just like 21 strikes combined, like the worst entry you ever saw in a takedown from like it's going to be nothing. So, yeah, I'd take the plus money if gun to my head here. I don't know what I want to do with it yet. I'm never betting Jacoby in this spot though.
It's a disgusting line, but I do think he's live for a KO. But it's like if he doesn't get a KO, then are you okay having minus 200? Because I bet him when he was in his prime against Maxim Grisham, and it was 20 cents better line, and he got dropped twice, and I was sweating, and I think I won a robbery, and I was like, man, this guy does not separate. You know, even when he's the better striker with more volume, that was back then. He was getting dropped 5 years ago, so yeah, minus 200, man. But I will say he probably won't be as patient as he was in the Petrino fight because he saved his UFC career. You know, he needed a win. You could tell he was a bit scared. So he's probably going to be like, all right, I'm getting a step down. Same as Bruno. Bruno just grappled against Magomedov because, you know, he got knocked out in Ribeiro fight. This guy here says he showed in the Ribeiro fight that it doesn't matter how badly he's losing. I think the moment got to him there. And he's been a lot more patient since then. So you can't really say he's going to fight like this because he fought in that fight. He's clearly changed his tactic up. He's very risk averse.
It's also hard. Like the Contender Series is such a massive deal when you're making your it's such a massive amount of money for some people that have grown up poor. Like it's a mind fuck. So I don't know.
I feel like
Ribeiro is another guy on his path. You know, he's another guy. Him and Chris Duncan are going to be Duncan and Chepe Mariscal are going to be champions in the UFC in like the next 18 months. All on the right path.
Honestly, he's a big underdog to Azamat Murzakanov, and I think he can get another meme. Honestly, like it's a huge step up for Ribeiro, but I think he could get a meme. Honestly, so we'll see. Murzakanov is like 37 years of age. All right. Let's move on because we're going close to an hour. Ramiz Brahimaj, Billy Ray Goff. What a name. It's like Billy Ray Cyrus. And he's got the same aura as Billy. Yeah, I actually have an under here at plus 160. And I thought about it because it was one of the early lines. You could only put 250 USD on it. But for me, that's 370 and Australian. And it got me over 600 Australian. So more than a unit. So I was like, I don't give a crap. That's enough for me. Probably don't want more than half a unit on this. Because I was like, you know, Rami's never been knocked out. And I told my friend about the under, and I'm like, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say Ramiz has never been knocked out, and you're going to tell me Billy Ray Goff's never been knocked out. But Ramiz, if you haven't watched the last fight against Mickey Gall, is now Mike Tyson. He's the Albanian Mike Tyson. That's what the rumor is. It's going around. So he's always dangerous and athletic early. The first 4 minutes, he can strike, and he can go for takedowns. He can choke everyone out, hence all the round ones. And he hasn't been knocked out, and he hasn't been submitted because he's tough. And even in round 3 against Court McGee, he was just getting mauled. And, you know, he was in a deep arm triangle choke, which I think is Court McGee's best submission. And he wouldn't give it. He wouldn't give it up. Like, he's high-level grappler. But he will gas. He will gas. And in that round 1, Court McGee, of all people, the pillow-fisted Court McGee, landed an overhand right, and he looked to be done. It looked like one punch almost knocked him out behind the ear. So Billy Ray will throw. I thought I was passing, and then I'm like, this guy is all pressure. He gets hurt a lot himself, but then he just comes back. So I think Ramiz, you can give him a little bit of finishing upside, right? There's a fight against Justin Sumter for Billy Ray. He got taken down. He got his back taken and flattened out in round 1, and he was getting pounded. Yes, that was at middleweight, but no one else, he hasn't really fought anyone else that can take him down and do that to him. Like, there's a lot of bums. You know, he's a good wrestler himself, so he's got good grappling. But Brahimaj can take people down. You know, he took Court McGee's back in round 2 after Court McGee dropped him in round 1. So early round 2, all of round 1, Raheem has that, early takedown potential, and we're seeing against Gal, if he lands a big punch, overhand right behind the ear, he can drop out anyone. So I'll play the under. I only played whatever was the limit. I'm thinking maybe tipping out the plus 140 to the Discord, right, like as a proper 1-unit bet, now that it's opened up. But I think maybe just the under 2.5 rounds at a chalky number is like a safe, maybe multiple unit play. Even the one decision for Billy Ray Goff on the regionals, he hurt the guy bad round 1, and then he was on top of him round 2 in mount. So, like, that guy survived, but he was going for subs and shit. I think he's just going to pound Brahimaj. Brahimaj doesn't have good cardio, so yeah, that's where I'm at, man. Other than that, like, I would not be playing this chalky line on Goff. I also thought about Goff KO, a plus money. It gives you like 15 minutes to get it done. You just have to have some risk management to say to yourself, I don't think Ramiz is going to finish him early. So, but I do think, like, Ramiz making it to decision, it would have to be something, an insane heart. Themba couldn't finish anything. Court McGee, couldn't finish anything. So I think Goff is going to put it on him. What do you think?
I'm with you 100% on the under, and I'll just add that, when he fought Themba, the whole world was on Garimbo because Brahimaj was coming off like spine surgery. So he looked terrible in that fight. You can forgive it a little bit if he does, but he has a track record of horrible cardio. And then Mickey Gall is one of the worst to ever do it. and he was training with like Bilal Muhammad, I think. So it's just kind of like a weird result. I don't see. Could he drop Goff and like take his back? Maybe. But I think Goff 2-3 is probably where I would head. I like the under a lot more. We talked about like the Brahimaj round 1 sub is 10-1. I don't hate it, but like it feels like a lot of his win condition. But I like the under. I think it's pretty. I don't know.
I would say all of his. I would say all of his win condition. Brahimaj has not sniffed any fight that's gotten out of round 1. Like, literally, right. Themba was 30-27, and Court McGee was 30-27, and Max Griffin was trending towards a 30-27 before his ear was blown off. So I don't see someone like Goff like giving up a decision.
Right, and the guys he's fighting are not exactly like. Is Sasha Politnikov like the most powerful guy he's ever faced? Like, I don't know. Like,
dude, back then, like, Brahimaj round 1 sub was so sweet. I used to that was the COVID times. Good times, man. It was easier to bet back then. Billy Goff on Ned's Australian bookie is plus 140 KO. And someone in my Discord said to me, I'd rather just play inside the distance at Pick'em. It's not much difference. It's 50 cents difference. Like, I haven't even seen Billy Ray Goff go for a sub. Even when he's on top, he throws ground.
I don't think he's locking in like a flying toe hold here or anything.
Right, well, I think his only submission potential is a flying toe hold. Everything else probably doesn't happen. But I'm looking at doesn't start round 3. It's disgusting. Ends round 1 or 2, it's worse than minus 200. Whereas under 1.5 is plus money. So I will just sprinkle the under 1.5. If it ends in, and then just maybe add some Goff KO to cover round 2 and 3. And then if Brahimaj gets it down in round 1, then the only way you lose both is if somehow this goes to a decision. Like, which props to Brahimaj for showing out heart and durability to survive what Goff is going to do to him in 2 and 3.
If Goff would have to be either gassed from defending takedowns in the first and end up being super low volume, like Garimbo doing nothing. Like, that's how I would see a decision here. But Goff doesn't really fight, like, even against Trey Waters. Like, he's throwing a lot. Like, he's game to throw. Like, he knows the job. He knows, and a lot of fights with Goff, he's losing. He's already down 1 round. Like, so I think he kind of knows the job when he gets in there for rounds 2 and 3. So yeah, I like the under a lot.
He has a ton of aura. I like Goff. It's just like something about him, like something about a fighter that he knows he doesn't want a safe fight. And
I bet he is a chubby chaser and he loves big girls. He has that aura, like,
It does look a bit like it. Does look a bit like it.
In the back of his pickup truck.
This is actually, these two belts that he's holding, they're just actually belts of the two chubby chasers that he acquired in the caravan park, like at the same time. But I said I was going to live bet him versus Kinoshita, and that fight turned so quickly that there was just no chance for me to live bet. As soon as I saw Kinoshita slowing, he was knocked out like 30 seconds later. So
Kinoshita ended up being such a bum.
Yeah, more like Kinoshita, am I right? Didn't change the name at all. That's a joke. All right. Mateus Gamrot, Ludovic Klein. So this is the one I need to do more tape. I left it till the end. People are split. I already know what I'm going to be like. Yeah, it's going to be damage versus control. People, are confident the Gamrot is the smash spot, and all others are saying, Ludovic Klein is the smash spot. So what do you think, Lewis?
So I wrote no. That's my notes is no for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never betting it. I feel like the line is suspiciously should probably be wider. Gamrot, just better strength of schedule. This is a big drop in like the murderer's row of people he's faced. But I don't know if he's every one of his last fights he's shown some kind of point in each one of these fights where he gets himself into bad trouble here, and he gets out of it. But he didn't get out of it against Hooker, but you could argue that he won that fight. I thought he had won that fight. The problem I have with Klein here, and I want to I've always wanted to like Ludovic Klein. I like that archetype of fighter where his first 10 fights he was fighting for a sack of rice, like a goat, like food, and he fights like it. But the problem with Klein for me is he's just so capable of not only putting up an entire fight as a clunker, but just rounds where you're like, is this the same dude I just watched? Like the round against Jai Herbert, Roosevelt Roberts, he does there's just 5-minute spans where he just looks like the worst. He doesn't even know he's fighting. So I need more than plus 140 to bet him here against a guy who at least we know will go for takedowns and will probably at least get a couple in this fight. How much control he gets is a different story, but that Gamrot is at least going to be persistent. Yeah,
makes a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. But Klein is the other guy that I just I can't get a fucking read on this guy, man. I remember I had him I think Fanatics, one of the books, I think it was Fanatics had when he fought Moises, they had the KO and the sublines backwards. So the Ludovic Klein KO lines were plus 3,500, plus 4,000. I'm talking a subhuman, plus 5,000. It was all backwards. I'm like, dude, just hit all 6 props. And Klein, I guess he got kind of close in the 3rd round, but then he just went into Moises' guard and he's like, all right. I don't know, man. He never seems to have a great game plan. And maybe he just relied on hitting a head kick knockout for too long, but I don't know. I don't feel like he fights optimally. As boring as Gamrot can be, it's probably going to be enough here. So I'll pick Gamrot. But I don't want to bet this fight, man.
Yeah, it's kind of how I'm feeling.
It didn't age well. 6 Hound says it didn't age well. Yeah, now everybody's knocking out Moises. Fucking Jared Gordon can do it. Superman against him, and Klein couldn't,
Yeah, the public is on it. It's all saying basic stuff like Gamrot at minus money. How is he going to cover when you go back and can't even cover against Guram Kutateladze, right? And whatever, Benil Dariush, that's aging horribly. 2:30-27 scorecards. That was a goat bet on Benil. But you just have to kind of go deep and see how will Klein react to all those Benil is an expert scrambler and has takedown defense. Klein, yes, good takedown defense, but what about scrambling when he's on bottom? And his cardio is not as good. So, and I love Gamrot, but then you just watch some of these fights. It's it's getting worse and worse. Rafael dos Anjos in 2024. I'm like, if anyone doesn't have the power to hurt dos Anjos, Gamrot, it's dos Anjos. And then he just almost knocks him out. I was like, what? is this guy's chin just getting worse and worse? And then I bet like 2 units against Jeff Neal against Dos Anjos. It was like just blew his knee out. That's how washed this guy is. And Gamrot just went to a 29-28. So it's like it feels like it's going to be a 29-28 either way, and you feel like you want to be on the dog because of that. But the gut says the favorite's probably going to win more likely at that 29-28. So it's a weird fight. Maybe it's accurate. Maybe you should be the favorite with not much value. So
is there value on the under? It's like it's big number.
Probably because I do think Gamrot is an underrated finisher, and Klein's been finished before. He gives me some bad tendencies. I mean, he lost round 1 to Roosevelt Roberts, for goodness sakes. So he didn't seem to like that striking on the feet. All right, main event. The main event: Maycee Barber versus Erin. What do we make of this fight, Lewis? What do we make of this fight? This is why you're here, right? This is why you came out of your cave for this fight?
I like there's the very obvious square take of how this fight's going to go. But, I mean, I don't know, man. Barber's cardio has always looked good to me. And she throws a lot more volume as fights go on. I mean, that's the question is this. Like, that's the price. If she can stuff some takedowns, she wins this fight. And I think she wins it at a pretty high clip.
Some takedowns?
Striking still isn't.
Over 5 rounds?
I mean, I think Barber could look good late. But I don't know. I mean, the over's minus 230, over 4.5. So, Blanchfield decisions what they think happens. And I mean, if I would rather look at a prop like Blanchfield 4 takedowns or 5 takedowns or something and see what it's priced at when it comes out. That stuff should be out tomorrow, I think. But
it's out. It's out for me right now. I'm actually looking at it. I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's probably going to be 3 takedowns. Will probably be plus money. I'll tell you right now. Erin, 3 takedowns over 3 is minus. 3 plus is minus 200.
Yikes! So
but I mean, she could get a couple in
one round, and that's
round.
the end of the round, or that Barber's going to have good get-ups here. Like Barber's still young, so it's not like she can't have made improvements. But I mean, Andrea Lee getting like over 5 minutes of control time against you is not. I don't. Have we talked about Albanian Conor McGregor yet? I don't know.
Yeah, we have. That's the Ramiz Brahimaj. We gave him a new name. We gave him Albanian Mike Tyson. But I said in the Discord, I could get behind the Albanian bum.
I mean, I think Blanchfield, more than likely, is just going to land a lot of takedowns. I don't think Barber's going to get reversals like she's getting against Andrea Lee. I think Barber also weaseled a couple of wins in her career. Like, was it the Maverick fight that the coach was like, do something? Was yelling, do something? Like, she's a pretty slow starter. I mean, I like Blanchfield's cardio. I like that Blanchfield has good fight IQ, sticks to a game plan, has fought 5 rounds before. I think Blanchfield could get a late finish here. But I don't know, man. I just don't like I don't like the angles here to bet it. Like, I just don't. Now here's the thing. Blanchfield could look minus 800 in this fight. Like, there's a path where she just absolutely, maybe Barber gasses from all the takedowns and Blanchfield just absolutely pours it on down the stretch and looks like just a ridiculous favorite, and minus 230 was a gift. So I'm picking Blanchfield. I think Blanchfield, like, late round props at least are interesting, but yeah, I mean, if Barber can defend a few early and get her striking off, I think it's going to be really interesting. If you're going to bet Barber also, I'd wait till after round 1. She doesn't win round 1s ever. And Blanchfield's going to get her down. And you probably get Barber at plus 600, 500, 600 after 1. So I think if you're going to bet her, just wait. I know Pat may like Barber side.
Let me tell you this. Erin also doesn't win round 1s. Right? She's a slow starter, and she's lost 2 rounds against Rose to start off. She lost round 1 to Talia Santos. She lost round 1 to Rose Namajunas. Round 1 to Manon Fiorot. Round 1 to JJ Aldridge.
Well,
So neither of these girls
everybody's
can win
losing
round
round one
one.
to JJ Aldrich, except for like Na Liang.
Yeah, well, and yeah. So I personally, if it's my turn, I personally thought this could be a max bet for me. I'm like, don't care what the probability is on Erin. If it's $1.40, if it's worse than -200, if I think she wins like a lot of the time against Maycee Barber in a 5-rounder, I'll just play a couple of units and just call it at that. Not overthink it. But then, me being me, after tape, can't help but overthink it. And I went into that Rose Namajunas fight, and I'm like, I remember this fight being differently. Obviously, Rose won round 1 and 2, and then in my head, I remember being, I live bet Erin like +4 something after round 1 because I'm like, I'm hoping, I knew she would lose round 1, and I'm just hoping for a comeback here. And it was a small price because the line was so big. And I remember watching it live. I thought she got a takedown in round 3, round 4, and round 5, and she won clear. And I remember one of the rounds, she got the takedown really late and it was competitive, and that was enough to steal the fight. But I thought it was a very 50-50 round. She didn't even get a takedown in like round 4 or something. And luckily, the judges still said that she outstruck Rose Namajunas on the feet. And one of the takedowns, she got the takedown really, really late. And I'm like, that's very lucky because in another fight, like for example, Maycee Barber, if she's not getting takedowns around 3, 4, and 5, Macy might land a bigger punch and sway the judges because Rose Namajunas was completely gassed. So I was like, she's still such slim margins, even against a girl like Rose Namajunas, that once you take her down in rounds 3, 4, 5, she has no get-up, she's gassy, she makes mistakes. Sure, you watch Andrea Lee versus Maycee Barber, she's been taken down like 5 times there too. But against Rebus and Ketlen, much better takedown defense. Still 2 for 2 for Rebus in takedowns, and they were head and arm throws, which is disgusting. But look, Erin's not going to go for head and arm throws. She's not a judo girl. She just likes to clinch, and that's the one spot where Macy can stuff takedowns. She spent a lot of time in the clinch against Ketlen Kaminara. I don't know why Ketlen wanted to take her down so badly.
The pride of Quakertown, Pennsylvania. Caitlin,
well, she just got her black belt versus from John Danaher, so I get it. And not long ago, she mauled Shevchenko's sister on the ground. But I'm like, that's not it. You're not doing well. You're not getting to takedowns. Barber is muscling you up in the clinch. She could do the same to Erin. And I just left thinking, nah, this line is disgusting on Erin. If Barber just makes slight improvements in the takedown defense, aka Jack Madalena, Erin's not really going to be much on the feet. So it would just be like, who's better on the feet? Stuff the takedowns. And I left it. I'm like, nah, disgusting fight. I don't want to say dog or pass because it just feels like a fight where Barber will still make a mistake and get taken down. I need to evaluate how her bottom game is because Erin on top, her wrestling sucks, but when she gets on top, really good control. She gets into crucifixes. She can get a KO from a crucifix. She did it on. She was very close to. She did it to Molly McCann, which means nothing, but she was very close to doing it to Miranda Maverick. And it was someone else. Oh, she did the crucifix and Rose Namajunas too, but Rose got out of it. So yeah, this girl's dangerous on the ground. It's just the wrestling sucks balls a lot. So yeah, no strong leans here. I mean, it just feels like another live bet. Like it's gonna be like Rose. It's gonna be back and forth. Barber might crack her in one of the rounds. She might win the first, and then Erin might take her down in the second, and then Erin might lose the third again. You just don't know when these takedowns are gonna come. It feels like a back and forth 5-rounder. Again, I don't want to force anything pretty. Macy's coming off a massive layoff as well, and all those injuries and whatever, which shouldn't mean anything at 27, but we could see some ring rust, Who knows? Who knows, man?
What about a D-Gen same game parlay of like Blanchfield 3+ takedowns and Barber money line? Because that's not correlated. That would pay insane.
I will probably look for something like that because are you aware of my Cody Sandhagen versus Figgy? It was Corey Sandhagen to win plus 1 takedown from Figgy, and he went up to pick him. And Figgy just took him down straight away in round 1, instantly. And I was like, this is the best line I've ever found in my life. I like those, but, I need to evaluate. There's some fights that Macy's been, apparently she was only taken down once by Kaminara. I thought that was more. And, one time by Jessica, you just don't know how many she's been.
Kaminara's even attempting takedowns and everything. She's too busy, high-eyeing the air.
No, she was grappling aggressively in that fight. I don't know why. It was a stupid game plan, but yeah, I don't know. It just we'll see. If you play Erin plus like 2 takedowns, you almost get pick 'em. Makes it better, whatever. Pumps up the line. She's not winning the fight without 2 takedowns, so at least minimum. So there we go. All right, I've got no bets other than the under 1.5. We'll go through it, and then you can machine gun your Champions League breakdown. So yeah, basically the only strong read here is I kind of want to fade Gustafsson, and I kind of want to do nothing else really. Dusko KO. I wrote some stuff down for that fight. Fight ends in KO. Could be decent. Dusko KO. Right. Go down the Beverly Hills Ninja route. Let me just see what that is because I wrote it down. I haven't wrote things down for any other fight. So let's. Fight ends in KO. Method of victory. What's Dusko KO? Dusko KO is, wow, plus 650. What do you think of that, Lou? $4.
Dusko KO plus 650.
Wow, that's a lot better than his money line.
A little bit. And it's very live. Very, very live. And it's live in round 1, too. I don't want to do like a 2-3 with that. It's live in round 1. He could absolutely bonk him in round 1.
If he can get a takedown end of round 1 because his wrestling sucks balls. But hey, he took down Chitty multiple times and Chitty got up. I think Chitty and Zachary have a similar body type. Very long, strong, like wiry, athletic guys. Dusko round 1 KO, $10. Round 2 KO, $15. This is like plus 1,500. These are wild. I found my Dagon DJing shots right there. Beautiful. Right, there's something in that fight. There's something in that fight. Other than that, Macy, I'm contemplating Bruno, Dustin. This is just all. I got the under in Billy Goff. That's going to be a fight where I'll probably unload on the under. Ludovic Klein, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm just going to be patient. I'm going to live bet this whole card. See what happens after weigh-ins. We'll probably lose 7 more fights considering we've lost 4 so far. What about you, Lou? You got any bets? I think you might have disclosed it already.
The Reese round 1 KO, but I like the under there a little more. I like the Goff under just like you do. And then we might we're waiting for like numbers to come out, but like maybe Oki in the distance or Oki live if Aswell shoots his load in the first round. But other than that, not a lot of spots. Slight lean to the Giles over, but not comfortable. Maybe the Holobaugh round 3. I don't know, but nothing exciting on this early card. All my money is going to be on football.
All right, tell me what's the football lanes, my friend?
So that's actually on Sunday. The Champions League final. It's like the Super Bowl. It's Inter Milan against PSG. I'll give you the 2-minute breakdown and the bets. But
okay.
PSG is the favorite. If you look at like a lot of the underlying metrics, like XG, possession, shots, all of it, PSG is the favorite, is the rightful favorite. But Inter Milan just played the craziest games against Barcelona. I know Bayern's not like Bayern of old, Bayern Munich, but like these are 2 like world beaters, and Inter Milan went on the road, like beat them, played well. I think Inter's getting a little undervalued here. I think the line's a little bit disrespectful, but I can't help think this game's going to extra time. It feels like a 1-1 or a 2-2 because Inter plays like a 3-5-2 setup, and PSG doesn't see this a lot. Enrique, their coach, doesn't see it a lot, like when he was in La Liga. But I think they have the talent to break it. But if Inter scores first, they scored first in like every game, and then they just parked the bus. They parked the bus against Barcelona. They parked the bus against Bayern. But the way their defense is set up, they can't park the bus well. Like that second half against Barcelona was just, both games was just an assault. And PSG can do that. So if Inter scores first, I think PSG scores. If PSG scores and Inter has to come out of their shell, they definitely have the talent. I don't think PSG has like their goalie's playing out of his mind, like Donnarumma's playing out of his mind. But I think Inter can score. I like both teams to score. I have that parlayed with Ousmane Dembele goal or assist. It's plus 125 on some books. It'll get you about plus 230 as a same game parlay. But basically, it's Dembele to do anything and Inter Milan to score 1 goal. So I like that a lot. And I also parlayed Dembele goal or assist with the draw at plus 800 odds at this point. So I like the draw. I like a score, both teams to score and the draw get you to like plus 3 over plus 300. So That's the way I'm playing this. I think it's going to be an awesome game. Finals, Steve, finals are, let's forget about the last final that you and I watched with our boys. But tournament finals in general.
Hey! I'm not a casual. I watched Chelsea versus Real Betis. I was scouting Anthony for the whole game.
Chelsea just he's killing it for them. Tournament finals historically are pretty low scoring because everybody's got their butt cheeks clenched the first half. Nobody wants to make a mistake, and I can see this one starting out slow. But I do think that it will start to open up, and don't rule out Inter scoring immediately. Like Inter has really fast goals in this competition. Maybe that's everybody just assumes they're a typical Italian team and they just sit back. But
who do you think lifts the trophy? The bet both teams to score is a pretty good line.
Yeah,
it happened last time Inter played Man City, and then City was parking the bus, and I remember I had City to win like at a chalky money line, and there was so many misses by Lukaku. If that was another striker, I'd probably draw.
Yeah, Lukaku and Matame on the same team this year just like makes me so sad. But I think I feel like, and I give Enrique the coaching advantage. I think they have I think PSG has a little more depth. So I think if this game does get extended, I could see PSG pulling it out in extra time. If it goes to a shootout, I don't know, but I really think this game's just going to end. It could end 2-2, but I really think this becomes a super, like the second half, it's going to open up. I'd tell you to bet more goals in the second half, but like, I don't like those kind of bets because I don't like not rooting for shit to happen in the first half unless I have like an under. I don't know. I don't really like those kind of plays, but I think this game 1-1, 2-2. I think Dembele is probably playing better than anybody in Europe right now. It's a little bit square to do his goal or assist line, but he's everything to that team right now, and he's not selfish. Like he plays like Salah. Like he has no problem passing, none. Like he has no problem just finding a team. Who's the Russian guy they got that shoots like 38 times a game? Like Dembele is just feeding him constantly. So,
are you sure he's Russian? Or are you talking about quite a scale?
That guy.
He's Georgian. Close enough. Same thing.
But Dembele feeds him. This guy just shoots and Dembele is on penalties. So, I think it's a reasonable line plus money in it, because the over is like pretty low. So you're going to get a favorable number there. So we'll see. I did this exact same bet and lost I'm pissed with Eze on Crystal Palace. Eze anytime goal or assist, and both teams to score, and then City could not score in that game. I was like, he was plus 220 goal or assist. I think the parlay was like, I don't know, plus 380 or something. I cannot believe. Hey man, I'm Italian. I am here. So like that's a bet. I'd make that bet. I am here. I'd probably parlay it with like Brahimai round 1 submission just because I don't have the patience to wait for the Brundage fight. But yeah, that's my quick and dirty breakdown of that. Draw, Dembele are my 2 prime bets there.
What about this for a random team goal range? Inter Milan to score 1 to 3 goals, $1.44, or PSG to score 1 to 3 goals, $1.33. They basically have to score 1 and not score more than 3 in the game, and it's almost minus 200.
I'll go on record. I don't think either one of these teams is scoring 4 goals in this game.
So it's a lock.
Well, dude, even the games that Inter just played, the crazy games Inter just had with Barcelona were 3-3. Yeah, that second game Inter played against Barcelona was probably the best game, one of the best games I've ever watched in my life. Definitely one of the most exciting. You got a 38-year-old scoring the game winner in extra time, and he popped the blood vessel in his face, screaming and celebrating. Like he went down, and they wondered how he got hurt, and the announcer's like, "Dude, like he popped the blood vessel from screaming."
That's what you want.
So
that's great. Man, the heater is on. I'm fucking sweating so bad.
I'm done with soccer. I have nothing to promote except the good time had by all.
That's good, man. Thanks for coming on. Don't play goal ranges unless regulation time. Yeah, I'll bet something. I'll bet something. It's easier to bet than freaking. I actually still regret not betting the under 2.5 in Spurs versus United. This fella was going to be extremely cagey.
Yeah, Mark, I'll tweet out. I'll tweet out all my if I add anything, I'll tweet out my official stuff sometime Friday night or Saturday morning before I get hammered.
All right, you got anything else to give us, Lou?
Nope. Love you guys. Thanks for having me on, Steve.
That's all right, man. Anytime. Thanks for jumping on. It's good to have you on, to see you on YouTube. Other than that, like and subscribe, and peace out.